Jai Hind students, welcome to my YouTube channel. Students, the best way to gain self-confidence is to do what you are afraid to do. Like if you're afraid to solve numericals, then in order to overcome your drawback, you need to practice as many numericals as you can. It is only then you will gain in self-confidence so as to solve numericals. So that's the way to go.
With that positive note, students, let's start today's session. Today we'll be discussing the topic of gravitational field. Yes, the topic of gravitational field. Actually, the gravitational interaction or the gravitational force between two bodies or particles can be explained with the help of this field concept. According to this concept, a material particle placed in space modifies the space around it. This modified space is called gravitational field. Suppose this is a body. Let us consider this to be a source body. Now, as per the field concept, this source mass or this source body, it tends to modify its surroundings in such a manner, it changes its surroundings, or rather it modifies its surroundings in such a manner that if any other body is brought around its surroundings or around its vicinity, then that body will experience gravitational force due to the presence of this source mass. So it is this space property by virtue of which a source mass modifies its surroundings in such a manner that if any test mass is brought near its vicinity, then it experiences a gravitational force. So that space property is known as gravitational field, right? So in order to discuss the gravitational field in detail, we need to understand the two concepts. First is the source mass. It's a body of huge mass. It acts as a source of gravitational field, right? So this body or particle acts as a source of gravitational field. While on the other hand, students, test mass. As the term suggests, test mass is a body having negligible mass. It can be represented by m naught, which is very small as compared to the source mass. Actually, the mass of the test body, it approaches to zero. Mass of a body can't be zero, but this indicates that the mass of a test body approaches to zero, tends to zero. It has got some non-zero finite value, but that is too small, right? So as the term suggests, test mass is the body whose mass is very small or negligible as compared to the source mass and is used to detect the presence of gravitational field due to a source mass, right? So it is used to detect the gravitational field at a point due to the source mass. So students, look. Gravitational field is due to the source mass and test mass is used to detect the gravitational field at a point due to the source mass. This is the test mass. As the term suggests, it is used to detect the gravitational field at a point due to a source mass. So test mass is considered to be of mass m naught while the source mass is considered to be of mass capital M. Always remember this. M naught is very less as compared to capital M. its mass is considered to be negligible as it do not alter the position of the source mass. Right? So that is the reason why the magnitude of the test mass is considered to be negligible, so that it do not alter the position of the source mass, and as a result, the intensity of the gravitational field at a point due to the source mass may be measured accurately. So basically, the field concept, as per the field concept, a material particle placed in space, it is the source mass, it is placed in space, it modifies the surroundings or modifies the space around it. And this modified space is known as gravitational field. So gravitational field is basically a space property. So when some another material particle, here in this case the test mass, is brought in this field, then this test mass, it tends to experience gravitational force of attraction due to the intermediary role played by the gravitational field. Therefore, students, the gravitational field may be defined as under. So the gravitational field is defined as, this is the definition of gravitational field which I am writing. The gravitational field is defined as the space around a source mass. Like Earth, it will behave as a source mass. Gravitational field will be due to the Earth. So the gravitational field is the space around a source mass, or it can be an assembly of masses over which it can exert gravitational forces on other masses. Gravitational forces on other masses. So this is the qualitative or theoretical definition of gravitational field. So again I repeat, students, gravitational field due to a source mass is the space property by virtue of which the source mass modifies its surroundings in such a manner that if any test mass is brought near its vicinity or surroundings, then it tends to experience gravitational force of attraction. So this is the field concept basically. Now let us try to understand how to measure the gravitational field at a point due to the source mass. So let's discuss its mathematical aspect or the quantitative study. So let us now discuss the gravitational field strength. It is also known as the gravitational field intensity. It is also known as gravitational field intensity. So for this, what we consider is, let us consider the gravitational field of an isolated body of mass, say capital M, right? In order to determine the gravitational field strength at suppose point P, let us consider this case. This is the body of mass M, and this is an arbitrary point P. And suppose the distance of this arbitrary point P from the center of the source mass is R, right? Now students, in order to determine the gravitational field strength at point P in the gravitational field, a test mass m0 is placed at point P. This test mass is supposed to be so small that it does not alter the gravitational field in any manner, right? So that it do not alter the position of the source mass, isn't it? Both will exert equal and opposite forces on each other, but due to the heavy mass, this will remain at its position, and due to its small negligible mass, it will get attracted or it can change its position, but the source mass will remain at its original position, so that the gravitational field due to the source mass at a point can be determined accurately. So this is the reason why the magnitude of the test mass is assumed to be very, very small, so that it do not alter the position of the source mass, right? So suppose F is the force experienced by this test mass. It will experience a gravitational force. This is the force experienced, suppose, by the test mass. Obviously, this will also experience the same force, but in the opposite direction, right? So this force experienced by the test mass per unit test mass, that will give us the measure of the gravitational field strength. Like mathematically, gravitational field strength, suppose we represent it by Eg. G stands for gravitational and field will represent it by capital letter E. It is given by, mathematically it is given by limit m0 tends to 0. It is simply symbolic of the fact that the test mass, its magnitude approaches to 0. It's very, very small. It is negligible. Mass cannot be 0. So that is why this arrow, this indicates it tends to or it approaches to 0, indicating that the mass is negligible, right? And this is the force experienced per unit test mass. Now look, this is a vector quantity, right hand side. So left hand side, it must also be a vector quantity. So students, the intensity of the gravitational field or gravitational field strength or the gravitational field intensity is defined as the gravitational force experienced per unit test mass placed at that point, right? So students, again I repeat, the gravitational field strength or the gravitational field intensity at a point due to the source mass is defined as the gravitational force experienced per unit test mass placed at that point, right? So it is mathematically defined as the gravitational field strength at a point in the gravitational field is equal to the force experienced per unit test mass. So it is defined as the gravitational force experienced per unit test mass placed at that point. So this is the mathematical or the quantitative definition of gravitational field. So the gravitational field at a point due to the source mass is defined as the gravitational force experienced per unit means divided by, per unit test mass placed at that point. So this is how gravitational force is defined. So what will be its SI unit? Force per unit mass. So SI unit would be Newton per kg. This is the SI unit of gravitational field, right? Now also remember, it's a vector quantity. Gravitational field is a vector quantity. It means that it possesses both magnitude as well as direction. And what will be the direction? Its direction will be same as that of F vector, that is this one. So it will be directed towards the center of the source mass. This is the direction of the gravitational field. So it will be always directed along the line towards the center of the source mass. So it is directed towards the center of the source mass. If the observation point is somewhere over here, then at this point the gravitational field would have been along this direction, right? At this point the gravitational field due to the source mass would be along the line towards the center of the source mass. It would have been directed along this direction. So gravitational field is a vector quantity and it is always directed along the line towards the center of the source mass. So that's its direction, right? Now let's evaluate this expression. We know that the gravitational force between these two bodies of masses capital M and M naught, it would be given by G. We are aware of Newton's universal law of gravitation, M naught divided by R square. And this is R cap, unit vector, right? This represents the direction of F vector, which is along this direction from P to this particular point O. Therefore, gravitational field, it would be equal to limit M naught tends to 0. Substitute this value of F over here. So what do you get? G capital M naught divided by R square. This M naught, R cap. So M naught get cancelled. And I've told you the significance of using this limit. It simply is symbolic of the fact that the magnitude of the test mass is very, very small. It is negligible. It actually approaches to 0. That is the reason why it is known as the test mass. It is used to detect the gravitational field at a point due to the source mass, right? So, M naught, it get cancelled. So, we are left with, it is equal to Gm divided by R square. So, this is the magnitude of the gravitational field. And in the vector form, it may be written like this. In the vector form, it may be written like this, right? And in magnitude, the gravitational field is given by, at a point, it is given by Gm divided by R square. And as I've told you, it's a vector quantity having both magnitude as well as direction. It is always directed along the line towards the center of the source mass. So students, Gm by R square, it's a familiar expression. It is actually equal to the value of acceleration due to gravity at point P due to this source mass, isn't it? So we conclude that the gravitational field strength at a point in the gravitational field is equal to the acceleration of the test mass placed at that point. This is actually equal to the acceleration due to gravity. So therefore, gravitational field, the gravitational field at a point obviously due to a source mass is numerically equal to Gm by R square, which is the value of acceleration due to gravity at that particular point. So this is a very, very important conclusion. So students, what we have proved is the gravitational field at a point due to a source mass is numerically equal to the value of acceleration due to gravity at that particular point. So it is numerically equal to the value of acceleration due to gravity at point P due to this source mass, isn't it? So it is equal to the value of acceleration due to gravity at point P. Right? This is what we have proved. So we have discussed the qualitative study of gravitational field, then we have discussed the mathematical or the analytical study of gravitational field strength as well, right? Now regarding its unit, as I've told you, its unit is Newton per kg. Gravitational field is gravitational force experienced per unit test mass. And students, gravitational field is also equal to the value of acceleration due to gravity. And the SI unit of acceleration due to gravity is meter per second square. So you can evaluate it. Newton is kg meter per second square multiplied by kg inverse. So it should also give us meter per second square. So it's the same thing. Either you can write the SI unit of gravitational field as Newton per kg or meter per second square. It's the same thing, right? So SI unit is either Newton per kg, you can write it like this, or Newton per kg is equal to meter per second square, right? This is the SI unit of gravitational field. Now students, let us discuss another very important concept, that is gravitational potential, right? Gravitational potential. Now the gravitational potential at a point in the gravitational field is the amount of work done in bringing a unit mass from infinity to that point. Again I repeat students, it is the amount of work done per unit mass in bringing that mass from infinity to that particular point. So what to do is, let me elaborate it. Let us consider this to be a source body. Let us consider its mass to be m. It is a source body, right? And this is the point P where the gravitational potential is to be determined. Suppose it is at a distance r from the center of the source mass. And let us consider this to be infinity. So students, we need to move a body, say of mass m0, from infinity to this particular point. So total amount of work done in moving this body from infinity to this particular point divided by the mass of this body, that will give us the measure of the gravitational potential. So the gravitational potential, I will represent it by capital letter V. It is the expression for the potential, it is the notation for the potential, and for gravitational potential I will write it as Vg, right? So it is defined as the work done per unit mass. This is the source mass and this is the test mass. So gravitational potential at a point is defined as work done per unit test mass in bringing this test mass from infinity to that particular point, right? So the work has to be done in moving this mass from infinity to that particular point, and that particular point is point P, right? So since potential is the work done per unit mass, so it's a scalar quantity. So gravitational potential is a scalar quantity. That is, it is just having magnitude but no direction. So this is the basic expression for the gravitational potential. We'll be using this expression so as to derive a relationship. So therefore students, the gravitational potential at a point in a gravitational field is defined as the work done per unit mass. Work done per unit mass in moving this body, in moving the mass from infinity to that particular point, from infinity to that particular point. So this is how we qualitatively or theoretically define the gravitational potential at a point. And remember, as I've stated, it's a scalar quantity. It is work done per unit mass. So obviously, potential is a scalar quantity, right? Now let us find out an expression for the gravitational potential in terms of the mass of the source mass. So for that, what we do is, students, let us consider this to be point A, let us consider a small path, and this to be point B. If the distance of point A from the center of the source mass is considered to be x, then this distance may be considered to be dx. So what we are going to do is, we are going to find out the small amount of work done in moving this mass m0 from A to B. And then in order to find out the total amount of work done in moving this mass from infinity to point P, we will integrate that small amount of work done. And then after getting the total amount of work done, we will divide it by m0. That will give us the formula for the gravitational potential at point P, right? That is our objective. So, small amount of work done. Small amount of work done in moving mass m0 from A to B through small distance dx is given by small amount of work done may be represented by dw, and it is given by the scalar product of force and displacement. Here the force is this one. This is the gravitational force acting over here, right? And displacement is also along this direction. So the dot product will be f dx cos 0. Cos 0 is 1. So we'll be left with f dx. Dx is the small displacement from A to B. Here f is the gravitational force. When the body of mass m0 is over here, then the gravitational force between these two masses, capital M and small m, would be G capital M small m divided by R square, right? So let's substitute the value. So small amount of work done in bringing mass m0 from A to B through small distance dx is given by dw is equal to G m0 divided by x square. Over here, the distance between A and O, that is the distance between m0 and m, is x, isn't it? This is x. So that's it. So therefore, total work done in bringing m0 from infinity to point P must be given by, look, total work done in moving the body of mass m0 from infinity to point P. It would be given by integration of this. And obviously we'll take the limit from infinity to R. The distance is to be measured from the center of the source mass. So the limits will be from infinity to R, right? So substitute the value of dw over here. G being constant can be taken outside. Capital M mass is constant. m0 is also constant. So we are left with 1 by x square dx. And limit would be from infinity to R. Now the integration of 1 by x square with respect to x is minus 1 by x. So that will give us minus gm0 1 by x infinity to R. Because integration of 1 by x square dx, it is equal to minus 1 by x, isn't it? We have made use of this particular formula of integration. So now in order to solve it, we will substitute upper limit minus lower limit. Therefore, work done in moving the body m0 from infinity to point P would be given by minus G capital M small m0 upper limit, that is 1 by R, minus lower limit, that is 1 by infinity. 1 by infinity is 0. So we are left with minus G capital M small m0 divided by R. Now put this as equation number 1 and this as equation number 2. Therefore, by definition, we are aware the gravitational potential at a point is defined as the work done per unit mass in bringing this mass from infinity to that particular point. So Vg is equal to work done from infinity to that particular point divided by the mass that is to be brought, right? So substitute this value of W infinity P from equation 2 over here. So what we get is this m0 and this m0 will get cancelled. So we'll be left with minus Gm by R. That is, gravitational potential at point P would be minus gm divided by r. R is the distance of this observation point from the center of the source mass, and here capital M is the mass of the source body. So this is the formula for the gravitational potential. Some important points, students. As I stated, gravitational potential is a scalar quantity, so it do not possess any direction. It has got only magnitude, right? And secondly, students, the gravitational potential is negative. This negative sign is because since the work is done by the gravitational field and not against the field in bringing a unit mass from infinity to the point under consideration. So that's why this negative sign, right? So regarding its unit, it is work done per unit mass. Therefore, SI unit of gravitational potential is joule. Work done is measured in joule, and mass, its SI unit is kg. Therefore, its SI unit is joule per kg. You can write its dimensional formula as well, converting it into M, L and T, isn't it? So, this is about gravitational potential. So again I repeat, students, gravitational potential at a point due to a source mass in the gravitational field is defined as the amount of work done per unit test mass in bringing this test mass from infinity to that particular point, right? So this is how we define gravitational potential. So students, in this session we have discussed about gravitational field and gravitational potential, and we have derived the expressions for these quantities as well. So that's it for this particular session, students. In the next session, we'll be discussing about gravitational potential energy and try to find out the relationship between gravitational field intensity and the gravitational potential difference, right? So till then, do take very good care of yourself and always stay blessed. Thank you.